Will LSU win a basketball game again? I think they will. They are spinning right now. It does feel like that they are in a almost a tailspin of trying to find themselves and losing ground every single day, it seems like. I'm not going to make any excuses for what LSU basketball is going through. I know that people want to bang on me and think that the relationship with Wade and some of the things that we've said right now, that they're struggling. You have to call it like you see it, man. Right? I mean, they are going through a time right now where they are struggling mightily at just the simple fundamentals of playing basketball. They still go through stretches. They went through one on Saturday versus Nashville where they lost by 9, losers of 8 of the last 9, LSU. But they went through a stretch in the offensive part in the first half where they nearly 6 minutes without the ability to score. I mean, like, really, in college basketball, that's hard to do. I mean, it happens, and good defensive teams can lock and clamp you up and make it tough for you to score. But when you've got the skill level of guys like LSU has on the floor, that's inexplicable. It really is. I know that, and injuries are haunting LSU, and I think that they're actually even more banged up than they're putting on. Murray's hurt. Gaines is hurt. We know about Pinson. You know, that Days' ankle. Sharif's coming back, getting to full strength. I mean, they're just not right health-wise. And that, to me, is the biggest issue. But everybody at this time of the year is dealing with similar issues. And I think that the part on the floor, the on-the-floor part that's hurting and setting them back more than anything is that offensively, they don't have something that they can rely on to get them an easy bucket when things break down. I think that, look, every high-level basketball team, even high-level high school teams, they'll have some type of strategy in the half court where they're trying to isolate their best players to get them buckets. But if something happens within the season or there are parts in the game where you've got to sub in and out your best player, there has to be something on the floor that everybody can run. Right? I mean, when Adam Miller's not on the floor for LSU, you can't run the same type of offense that's going to benefit Adam Miller. You can't run pick and roll with guys like Darius Days and Tari Eason if Days is banged up or if Eason's out of position or things aren't just flowing the way that they should be to let those things happen. And when you're right and everything's looking good and everybody's healthy, well, that's what you're hoping for. But the ability to stay at that health point all season long it's very tough to do. So you've got to plan for when there's a breakdown, when there's a setback, when there's an injury, when there's somebody not available, when you take your point guard out of the lineup for a month, like you've done with Xavier Pinson, you've got to have something that you can't go through 9 6-minute scoring droughts because the ball has to be moving. Players have to be cutting. People have to be getting to spots. They just stand around offensively. It becomes one-on-one with Tari or Darius, and if those guys can't get a shot up, or if they can't create something, then it's a lot of just, hey, let's see what happens. And at this point of a college basketball schedule, where you're approaching mid-February and looking towards March, and people have scouting reports, and you've played as many games as you have, and you've put a lot of film out there where people can scout you pretty easily, you've got to make adjustments. And you've got to be able to scheme something to get open looks and get open shots. And right now, LSU basketball just does not have that. They don't have that. And I don't know how fast you can fix that in the season. Because that's got to be something that you either have built in or you've got to bring it in. And in the middle of the year, if you don't have it, you can't bring it in. But my one criticism of Will Wade at this point would be that he needs an in-game manager. He needs an in-game coach. He needs somebody who is just a basketball X and O junkie. Because the people that are saying out loud and the section of the fan base that is asking for Wade to be run out has lost their mind. Like, you either don't know the history of LSU basketball or your sense of entitlement is way too over the top that I don't even want to talk to you. There's no reasoning with you. This guy could potentially have 3 5-stars in next year's recruiting class. 3. If they reclassify Marvell Allen, the point guard in Florida, which looks like it's possibly going to happen, that is 3 5-star players in one class. Johan Traore, the number 3 center in America out of Arizona, is coming to LSU. Julian Phillips, the number 1 power forward in the country, is coming to LSU. Marvell Allen, one of the top point guards in 2023, is trying to reclassify to get into this year's recruiting class that could be 3 5-stars. Devin Ree's a player from Oak Hill Academy. Look around. Not a lot of people can recruit at that level if you're not Kansas, Kentucky, and Duke. And Will Wade's doing that at LSU with the practice facility leaking roof, leaking water onto the floor while they're practicing, and they got rats at the games while they're playing. Like, have you lost your mind? Were you not here for Trent Jones or for Trent Johnson and Johnny Jones? Do you not recall what it's like to really struggle as a basketball program? And they're struggling right now. They're in the shit. They're looking for a way out of it. But it's a lot easier to do it with 4 and 5-star guys than doing it with a band member. And that's where they are. He's a high-level recruiter. He's a top-notch recruiter. I don't know if anybody recruits the transfer portal and the way that he's recruiting these high-end guys better. But he needs some help on the bench right next to him. He needs somebody within the game that may not really be that good of a recruiter, but just as a basketball junkie. My guy has always been John Brady for him. That boat might have sailed by now, but Brady, he just got no interest in recruiting. Got no interest beating the streets, in some back roads in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama looking for some kids. I mean, Wade loves that stuff. He loves identifying, recruiting, winning the recruitment, getting them on campus, developing, and putting them in the league. That stuff's happening too, by the way. But they need somebody in the game that either says, hey, coach, call timeout, or get out of the man, get in the zone, or watch your offense here. They're in zone. They're in man. Well, inbounds here, let's run this. I mean, managing a college basketball game, roster, all that stuff it's just, you can see it. He's sitting up against the scores table, rubbing his hair. I mean, look at the circles under his eyes.
My guy.
At the press conference. On Saturday in Nashville. I mean, my dude ain't sleeping.
He's doing too much.
He's freaking out. He's struggling. Whatever you do in your life that you're passionate and love, when it's not working out, when it's not going the way that you want it to, the way that you see it, the return on the hard work that you're investing into the passion project that you have, that you care about, is not giving you good vibes back, you are a mess.
It could kill you.
You're a mess. And that's where he is right now.
A lot of mention of Greg
Greg Heyer,
former LSU coach.
Yeah, he's been on staff with him.
He's at, Eastern Tennessee State? Same role as an assistant coach. He was what?
I don't know. I don't know how their relationship ended. I don't know. That will be. That's a name. Sure, they've worked together. That's the type of person you need, though. That's the type of coach that you need next to you. And look, I think that Bill Armstrong does a tremendous job. I think Kevin Nickelberry does a good job. There has to be somebody that. There has to be somebody that their specialty within the game is managing the game. And
strictly whiteboard.
strictly whiteboard, strictly being able to X and O, strictly being able to scheme, strictly being able to say, hey, we're going through a 6-minute scoring drought. Get us out of it.